Hey everybody, welcome back. We're playing The Binding of Isaac, and you might have noticed as we get the randomizer set up here, dude, this is familiar, but that's okay. Forgotten to the Lamb. We're a little late today. You'll have to excuse me. Holy crap, 6th streak. I was playing like a man possessed. What happened? It's been, and I don't say this to farm for sympathy. It's been a wild, Thursday to Monday, basically. I can't get to that. What am I thinking? Today is Tuesday, by the way, which is, the video will come out, when it's done, basically. But you don't need to know the specifics, I suppose. But, so Friday, we went to see our in-laws for American Thanksgiving. Kate and I are double vaxxed, our in-laws are double vaxxed. Figured if there was a time to, go see family, maybe it was right now. That turned out to be, I wouldn't say a mistake necessarily, but it led to a bit of a wild weekend. I talked about it more on the stream yesterday. Hold on, let me grab this. But basically, to travel to America, you have to be double vaxxed. No problem, easy. Here's our card, sir. You got nothing to worry about. We're on the level. To get back into Canada, you have to have a certain type of COVID-19 test result come back negative, and also have it come back, the result is only valid for 72 hours after you get the test. Okay, so you take the test. If it's negative for 3 days, if it's negative, I should say, you've got 3 days to use that. Now, here's where things get interesting. The turnaround time for getting a test result back is about 72 hours. So hopefully you can understand the conundrum as we got tested Friday as soon as we got into the United States of America. Really should have done it in Canada. I'm not trying to skirt responsibility for this one, but everybody that we talked to that had been to the United States of America for travel, including other Americans, we're like, no, don't, because in Canada to get a PCR test, you can get it done for free with a relatively long turnaround that would be maybe impossible to meet the standards of the Canadian border. But you could also, pay like $200 out of pocket to get a private test with results that come out quickly. And people were like, don't do that, just go to America. They're like very protesting right now. Not protesting, they're pro-testing. You can go to a Walgreens or a CVS or a Rite Aid. They'll just give you the test in like a drive-through format, and you're good to go. So that's what we did. Had a great time on Friday, had a great time on Saturday. Sunday morning, which is, when we wanted to come back to Canada, our results had not yet come in from the test that we did in the United States, thus kickstarting a bit of a stressful Sunday as I looked for where to get tests done in the US that could return their results quickly, because it was possible that by the time we got the results from the tests that we actually took, they would be older than 72 hours, thus we could not make it back into our own country until we had a new test result that might have, again, a 2 to 3 day turnaround time, if it even returned the results in a valid time frame to begin with. So basically I woke up on Sunday and I was like, I'm trapped in America for the rest of my life. There's probably worse places on earth to be stuck than, at your in-laws' place. So they showed us a great amount of hospitality, don't get me wrong. But I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is crazy. I used the Sun card instead of the Stars card. So, eventually, I'm not gonna belabor the point. I'm just giving you, like, a perspective, okay? So that was stressful. We managed to get a test done in Seattle, like a few hours away from where my in-laws actually live. We got results back in 5 minutes, because, it's not that the test, the actual test itself doesn't take 3 hours. It's just, the queue. Or 3 days, I should say. It's the queue that takes 3 days. So, but, you know, for the price that we would have paid to get a very much more calm experience by getting a test in Canada, well, we paid it in America to get a much more stressful experience. And I do want to acknowledge it was completely our own fault. I wouldn't say we were flippant necessarily about the situation, but we definitely assumed that we would get our test results back in time. So, anyway, we made it back across. That was good. But as, you know, we got across the border, next day, that's yesterday, wake up, baby's a little sick. You know, she's got a cough, she's got a bit of a fever, she's sneezing. I do want to point out, you know, that Kate and I have tested, negative for COVID. Hold on. I'm taking it, man. I shouldn't. I'm gonna do it. Okay, I'm glad I did. Kate and I have tested negative for COVID literally 3 times in the past 72 hours. So I'm not necessarily thinking that, you know, she has COVID-19. I'm more thinking that, you know, she might have some kind of the flu or something like that. And the other reason I'm thinking that is you might be able to tell that I myself have picked up whatever it is and am sick myself. So I'm not going to stream today, but I am going to record some videos. Like, this is just, again, not to complain at all, really. But I'm stupid here. HP? That's fine. Maybe it's better than fine, actually. But, yeah, just to give you some indication, if you're like, hey, it seems like the videos have been slowed down a little bit here lately, what's going on? Well, you know, we almost got trapped in a foreign country, spent a very stressful few hours, like, on my birthday, trying to get, I don't even know what would have happened if the test was positive. I guess I would just live in America for, like, the rest of my life, but, oh no, cursed eye? One day I'll learn that you never pick up items that are question marks. One day. But yeah, you know, we've had, it's been stressful. Like, I'm doing fine. Last night I legitimately was, like, very, very sick. And which is why I canceled the stream today. I figured just out of an abundance of caution, like, I legitimately was like, I think I might need to go to the ER. And for me to go to the ER for, like, flu-like symptoms is pretty unprecedented. Well, I'll just die, if you don't mind here. But, you know, I put on Tiger King Season 2, went to bed at 9 p.m., and just the sweet, sweet sounds of Joe Exotic verbally assaulting Carol Baskin for reasons that I don't even really completely fathom. Just, I don't know, they had a very therapeutic effect. Like, I feel a little bit better today for sure. We also took our, out of an abundance of caution, we took our daughter to the walk-in clinic last night to get her another test for COVID just to make sure, you know, so, like, we'll see how that, it's just been a little crazy. Let's just put it that way. So, like, we probably shouldn't do this. But here I go doing it. Why not? Just if we could, like, buy a spirit heart or something, that would hit the spot. So again, I'm not really trying to complain like, oh, like, life's so hard. Like, it actually is, you know, just largely been a situation where, you know, there's been a lot of, like, pressing stuff come up, but everybody's doing pretty well. Even, like, you know, my daughter's sick. It's alarming because it's your child. Like, but it's not actually, like, at least at present, like, a major cause for concern, unlike the mucus buildup that just happened in my nostril. So yeah, that was my weekend. By the way, thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm not being facetious, as I was having a bit of a moment on Sunday, trying to figure out how the heck we were going to get back into the country in which we reside. I was like, oh, it's nice to feel appreciated on it. And I mean that sincerely. Like, I was, I even, like, still yesterday, like, today I'm a little bit back on the normie side, but I think there was just such a combination of, like, stress, exhaustion, etc., etc. Like, we came back from getting our private test in Seattle, we went to our in-laws' place to feed the baby, and they like brought out a Cookie Monster cake and sang happy birthday. Then my nieces gave me like 2 handwritten birthday cards that were like, Ryan, Uncle Ryan, you are the funnest uncle of all time. I'm so happy to spend your birthday with you. And I was like, it got me, man. Even thinking about it right now, I'm like, you know, I'm like close to crying, honestly. It's just been a heck of a couple of days. But yeah, so I don't know what I would say about that. You know, I don't know if there's a lesson to be learned there. One lesson to be learned is, if you're going to a very specific lesson, I'll admit this is not is a bit I can't get over there just yet. Unless maybe the soul of Azazel, does it actually turn us into Azazel for a room? No, it just shoots out a big beam, right? If we get a spirit heart, we can become the Phantom and then go check that stuff out. One thing I would say is if you're going from Canada to the US, like if you want to travel US to Canada right now, it doesn't seem that bad. You know, you could get a test in America. When the results come in, if they're negative, you can go to Canada. Then you can get back into America as long as you're double vaxxed. I think that's the case, at least. It's a lot harder to do it in the other direction because of the timing of the PCR test to get back into Canada. But if you're getting back into America, you should be okay. If you're a Canadian thinking about going to the United States right now, here's what I would say. I would say, you know, depending on the length of your trip, either plan on, I guess we'll use this for a sec, getting a test in Canada and then coming back within 72 hours of having taken that test. The other and I'm just going to stick with Book of Revelations here. I know this is like highly specific. Like it's not really applicable to everybody watching this video, but you know, learn from my mistakes. So one option would be that, or I don't know, maybe this is not cool to say, but you could just hit up like 8 drive-through pharmacies the day that you get to the US instead of just one. You know that classic meme, why shop at 5 or 6 stores when you could stop at just one? This time, I think you should stop at 5 or 6 stores, just so you're not beholden to one specific entity, where if your results don't come in time, then you're gonna find yourself in a really bad spot. I'm not doing this deal with the. We'll see if it's Krampus, because I'd like to. Oh wait, I can see items. I didn't think I could see items. So this is a gimme. I think I'm gonna leave that. Just I don't trust my HP right now. Although I guess we do a Book of Revelations. No, I think we're better off, man. Hold on, let me blow by those. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I am back. Yeah, that's my advice. And also, like, I don't know, just another indication that, like, in case you weren't familiar, traveling with a baby is definitely a lot harder. This definitely throws an extra wrinkle into the equation. Like, I'm not gonna lie, once, first, we got back into Canada, I heard her going like, and I was like, oh god, here we go again. It's just a learning process. But anyway, like, more than anything else, like, even though it's been, you know what, hold on. I thought maybe that would, we need Oculus Rift, please? Maybe I can get this nickel. Nice shiny Stanley nickel, please. Okay, never mind. All that being said, I hope that doesn't come across as, like, overly negative. I would like to acknowledge that, like, you know, a lot of this pain was, like, self-inflicted for just assuming that, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Like, we knew the precaution was a big deal. We just didn't think it was likely that our test results would not come back in time, but it's something we should have considered. But, you know, it's easy to say in hindsight. And the other thing is, like, as negative as this might seem, like I said, I'm actually just, you know, the fact that it's a Tuesday and we were back in Canada on Monday, and I got to, you know, get some work done yesterday and, like, sleep in my own bed and stuff like that. It genuinely, like, this is the good scenario. Because in my head, I was like, oh my god, you know, we didn't get our test results back. They're not going to come back until they're actually invalid because they're going to be more than 3 days old, which means we got to get a new test, but that test itself could take 3 days to provide its results as well. So, like, on Sunday, I was like, minimum, I'm going to be chilling in the United States of America till Thursday, which is not a problem, by the way. Like, we could have turned it into, like, I don't know, a very strange vacation or something like that, but is also, like, not what we had planned to do in the first place. So this is, like, this is the good scenario here, where we were actually able to get home. And I'll deal with a little sniffliness and you know, we'll keep an eye on the baby, of course, make sure that the baby's doing okay. But I'm happy to be back. I'm much rather, especially if we're going to get sick, I'd much rather deal with it, you know, after being safely at home where we can, like, self-isolate much more easily. Which is not atypical for us, you know. I mean, I do have to say, you know what I think it is? I think my daughter and I in particular had just gotten over those daycare germs. You know, where we got introduced to, like, you know, new pathogens that have been cultivated by a group of kids who, like, just eat their fingers all day and stuff like that. You know, they're, like, sneezing in each other's mouths and stuff like that. We had just gotten over that. And I think I'll take the Fool card here. We can get the Boss Rush for sure. And then, you know, I was feeling good. I was feeling strong. I don't want to brag, but I got a 3-week streak going on the Peloton, so I'm pretty much Lance Armstrong. I figured nothing can hurt me. Go visit our in-laws, and now we got introduced to those, like, elementary school, middle school germs, you know? Where they're in much larger classes, you know, they're cultivating all sorts of, you know, viral bacterial colonies, and now we got introduced. This is just like the necessary, you know, like my immune system, I think, is having like Windows updates after 1.5 years of staying inside. It's like, while you were away, by the way, there's been a lot of innovations in the world of bacteria. So here's we just gotta inoculate. I'm basically like I'm getting live you know, in vivo vaccinations every time I meet, like, a new individual who actually interacts with human beings on a daily basis. As somebody who's largely just lived in his office for the past, you know, 1.5 years. Except for that time I saw Dune, admittedly, okay. This is like, I mean, I didn't believe... Well, I shouldn't say I disbelieved it. Oh, Curse Die. But parents, whenever they were like, oh yeah, when your kid goes to daycare, like, you're gonna get sick all the time, they're gonna get sick all the time. I was like, yeah, maybe you, but, I don't know about you, but, I, eat bananas, you know? Like, I think that a lot of guys, I don't know if this is like a universal thing, but I've met a lot of guys who are like, you know, my immune system's just better. Like, I rip to you, but, like, I never get sick. You know, I wipe my, you know what, with my bare hand, and that gives me controlled exposure to bacteria, and as a result, I never get sick. Like, I'm sure we all know, like, 10 guys like that. They're also, this is not SIPS. This is a false positive for SIPS, but, you know, they're also the guy that, like, you know, after it's still the winter time, maybe it's like mid-March, and there's a day that's in the single digits Celsius instead of below 0, and they wear shorts. And you're like, are you sure you want to wear shorts, dude? Like, I'm still in snow pants. And they're like, yeah, it's warm, actually. Like, if anything, I'm, like, a little hot right now. Yeah, sure, okay. So that was me. For all the disparaging comments I just made, that was me. I was like, yeah, you probably got sick when your kid went to daycare, but I'm just built different. And I'm definitely reaping the consequences of that now. After getting sick, this is probably my 4th time being a little bit under the weather in the last 5 weeks. But, like I told myself after the 3rd time, surely at some point we gotta be getting close to the end of the... Like, at this point, I feel like you could kind of harvest, we need to take this, okay, hold on, just take a glance. It's good, but I think I'd rather have Book of Revelations. It's double the effectiveness right now. Sumptorium? Don't even start with me, man. I guess I'll take mystery egg. Like, at this point, I feel like once I get over this, if I have a moral obligation, maybe you have a moral obligation to do this at any time, but I feel like I have a moral obligation to donate blood. Because I must have, like, white blood cells that are capable of fighting off just about everything going on, at least locally, and also in you know, upstate Washington. Like, I feel like I must have super blood right now. Maybe not right, but in like a week, I'm gonna have like super blood. That gives me an idea. Can you sell blood on Etsy? Like, could you? Probably not, right? I don't. Look, I gotta talk to the Lou Malnati's people and figure out how you ship perishable stuff, like in a freezer package or something like that. You gotta do FedEx overnight, I'm sure. It sounds like a lot of hassle. Also, yeah, there's all this regulation with selling, you know, like medical supplies. I have to imagine that there might be some related to the selling of, you know, human, I don't know, human material. That being said, you know, this is what I say when I'm like a little delusional. Like, I've gotten sick once a week for the past month, and I'm like, I think I'm like a Superman. That doesn't seem to compute, but, you know, it feels true. Anyway, so I'm just honestly, like, looking forward to, well, not looking forward, I'm feeling blessed to be back at home and enjoying, you know, the comfort of my own domicile and stuff like that, and, you know, it's, honestly, it was fun to be at our in-laws' place. I say that non-ironically, like, I had a great time. I really, you know, I've spent a decent amount of time with, it's my wife's family. I've spent a decent amount of time with my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and my nieces, but this was like the first extended, like, you know, we actually stayed overnight for 2 nights and stuff like that. I had a great time. I feel like I'm, you know, closer to that side of the family that I've ever been. Like, instead of just being like, you know, thank you for coming. Yes. How's work? Good. How about you? Good. Okay, that's good. You know, instead of just that, I feel like we connected on like a human level, you know? It's nice. Just a lot of the stuff that came along with it was annoying, but, you know, again, it's a comedy. I mean, it's what you expect, right? You know, it's, I mean, we are living in a global health crisis still. You know, I understand the precautions. I'm not really upset at the Canadian government for trying to, you know, minimize the spread of the virus or anything like that. If anything, I'm mostly annoyed at the dang Rite Aid. I mean, it's not even the Rite Aid, I suppose. It's probably, oh, why would you do this to me? It's the lab, I'm sure, that they outsource their testing to, but still, like, you know. Anyway, whatever. It's what's done is done. We're back. At least this is the better kind of illness from a YouTube Twitch standpoint as well. Oftentimes, like the last couple, I felt fine. Like literally 90% perfect, right? Not 100%, but like 90% perfect. Excuse me. But I sounded like, hey guys, welcome back. No, I promise, I feel good. I feel good. Why are you telling me I'm sick? I feel good. Now, today, like, except for the occasional, you know, mucus packing, I feel like, I actually sound, like, pretty normal. But I feel a little worse than usual. I'm gonna try this. You know, that's not a big deal. Figured it was worth a shot. But yeah, so that's, anybody got me beat there? Probably, I don't want to hear about it, though. Like, I'm enjoying, my victim complex, I'm enjoying that we actually have, like, a little, gas for that for once. Instead of, like, no, my stream didn't go that well today because I was in a bad mood. Instead, I get to be like, well, you are not going to believe the stuff that happened to me, man. It's crazy out here. But yeah. Had a good time. There's some incredible meals, man. I gotta tell you. Yeah, I was another reason that I didn't want to stay in the U.S. is honestly I felt like this is probably not the case, but I felt like I was being a burden to my in-laws. Like the first night we were there for lunch, we had this Korean dish called galbijim, which is like it's a pretty, I don't know if I'd say fancy, but like it's a very involved cooking process that is delicious. It's like a sweet braised beef, basically. Then we had like a Thanksgiving dinner for dinner, which is obviously like extremely involved. And the next day for breakfast, you know, my sister-in-law cooked everybody like, you know, Belgian waffles with a waffle maker. For lunch, they got us, you know, Mexican food. I gotta say, the Mexican food be hitting a little different, Sobo, south of the border. It's up in Canada, like in Vancouver, we get some. It used to be a lot worse, honestly. There was like, we had like Chipotle, basically. Dude, this works for a while, right? We can hold that, yeah. And some other places that were more like, I don't know, I don't want to say like regional, but like, you know, it wasn't like they were in like the heart of the city proper necessarily. It's gotten a little better. The Mexican food game has come up a little bit, but definitely like the American Mexican style where you get like and I apologize if that's not the, you know, preferred nomenclature. This might be more authentic Mexican. I'm just trying to hedge my bets here. But where you get like a huge plate of like, you know, beans and rice and, you know, 3 different kinds of salsa, free tortilla chips to start the meal with, you know, stuff like that. Like that's not what it's like in Vancouver. In Vancouver, it's like, to start, tortilla chips and salsa, $8.50. 3 tacos, $15.65. You know, it's more like that, and it's good. I gotta tell you, like it's pretty good. But it definitely, like, I would say we have a plethora of kind of like upscale hipster, you know. They're not called like Mexican restaurants. They're all called like mezcalerias and stuff like. I don't even know if that's the word, but I'm pretty sure that's just like a gastropub, but for tequila. You know, I'm gonna say yes because we have charges. That was a good choice. Sure. And we gotta go down. At some point, we are gonna use the Soul of Azazel. I promise. Source, dude, just trust me. I gotta look at Soul of Azazel for a second. Is it 1 room or is it for a length of time? 7.5 seconds. Okay, so that's like 2 rooms probably. Which it does change things, because like I was thinking about using it to like beat as much of the womb as possible, but that's okay. But yeah, Sobo, man. I'm trying to make Sobo a thing, but to refer to America. I don't know if it's gonna catch on. But I think it's just kind of like it's a fun sentence to say, right? Like, oh man, I love anytime we're Sobo, I love getting some Mexican food. But yeah, then that night, I can't even remember. It was crowded. You know what? That night, like my brother-in-law has one of those like Traeger smokers, and he smoked like a ton of ribs and stuff. It was just, we made like bespoke baked potatoes with like a garnish line where you could garnish it as you play. It was getting crazy. I was like, I gotta get out of here. Like they're not gonna have like they're gonna drain their retirement funds being as hospitable as they're being right here. It's crazy. And then of course the Cookie Monster birthday cake was also, I mean, that I'm pretty sure that was just from Costco, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but like I didn't expect them to cook the cake themselves. I didn't even know there would be a cake. But there's just like Costco cookies have a taste to them. Even if I didn't assume that it was from Costco, and that's a safe assumption because in Washington State, I really feel like people are just like, Costco is like a religion. It's very popular in a lot of the world. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's 2 things that people from Washington love. One of them is the Seattle Seahawks. It's the great unifier. 1 in 6 people is wearing a Russell Wilson t-shirt jersey. The other one is Costco. I feel like if you, in lieu of government ID, if you just ask people, like, if you let them use their Costco card as a driver's license, nobody would ever get pulled over for driving without a license. The joke doesn't even make sense, but you get the idea. Mod avoid. Okay. But the Cookie Monster cake had, like, some cookies on it, which makes, you know, it's in character. And, definitely as soon as... It's something, even though it's been, like, 10 years, as soon as I ate, like, a little bit of the Costco chocolate chip cookie, or the chocolate chip cookie, I was like, that's Costco, man. I don't know what it is. That's, like, Kirkland flour or something. It's just hits different. Not bad. Not bad, by the way. But it's, you know, like... The Costco cookies and the Subway macadamia nut cookies. Like, they just have a certain... a mouthfeel to them. A good one, I guess, but... If you blindfolded me, I have absolutely no doubt that, like, I would get some foods wrong in a blind taste test. Probably the most universally recognizable foods in a blind taste test are, like, you know, a dill pickle would probably be a pretty big one. But then also, like, I think a Subway white chocolate macadamia nut cookie. No one would ever, if they've had one in their lives, they would not get it wrong. They would be like, I know exactly what this is. How could you not, you know? Like, it's just... I can imagine the flavor in my head completely right now. I really thought I was the best gamer of all time right there. Did you see that? So I still think we're gonna win. I'm increasingly realizing that, as always happens in Isaac in 2020, well, probably like 2017 to 2021, for that matter. Our damage is actually like pure garbage, but it didn't matter for a while because we were playing as the Bone Lord. Now that we're playing more as the Spirit, that's changed things ever so slightly, but Soul of Azazel should let us, as long as we got some HP left, Soul of Azazel should let us, you know, do some serious dirty work here. Okay, bad dodge. Truth be told, even without Soul of Azazel, we should be in a pretty good spot. We are the Forgotten, maybe, like, you know, the strongest base character in the game. Them or Azazel, for sure. I honestly, like, even after the randomizer, I was thinking about, like, what to say in today's episode. They're obviously not scripted, because, like, you think I would, you know, deliberately script me complaining for so long? No, that just comes out, like, you know, as the mouth opens up, so does the soul. Let's work on the phrasing there. I think it's, makes me sound like, Jared Leto or something like that. However... Yeah, it's a joke about how, like, I think he ran some kind of, like, erotic cult. And by ran, I mean, is still running? I don't know necessarily, but the first words that came to my head were more power to him, and then I was like, no, absolutely not more power. You can find a better thing to say than that, which is, I don't know all the details. But, yeah, as the mouth opens up, so does the spirit. But I was gonna say, like, and this is complete sandbagging because we literally just won the run. However, I was like, there's a 90% chance we're gonna lose today's episode, but we didn't. Look at that. You ever notice that Isaac is crying on the screen here? 10 things you can't unsee. 10 things Edmund McMillan doesn't want you to know about the Binding of Isaac. Hey, thanks for watching. You know, I feel like it really peaked in illness yesterday, so I'm hoping that the content disruptions start to even out a little bit. Thanks for your patience. Click the like button if you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!